What's on your mind, Commissioner?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Savage Land. Welcome back to another episode of Soapbox, which will have a little small portion of G.I. Joe as G.I. Joe attached to it. This week on Soapbox, or the episode of Soapbox that we're going to be talking about, is basically my toy pickups. I just got a huge haul from Big Bad Toy Store this week. Haven't had one of those in a minute, but it just so happened over the past 3 months, a lot of figures came in that I actually wanted. So I got about 15 figures. And then I also have a bunch of starting lineups, which will be the first topic we'll talk about, that I found at Ollies. I've actually been looking for these for the past 2 months, ever since during Christmas time. I heard they was at Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. I never came across any of them. But I found a mother load at Ollies, man, so we'll be going through that. And then a few other little topics we'll talk about. But let's jump right into it, and let's jump pretty much into the first topic, which is starting lineup. Let's begin on the starting lineup subject with a line that could have been everything, but it just could never get started. Reason why, when they first initially started out, they were $50, and now you're finding them at Ollies for as little as $7, $6, $4 for the golds. Okay, so if you were to get 4 figures from this line, you would pay $200, which now you could probably get 20 of those figures for that $200. Okay, so that's where it began for the failure, and I kind of understand. All right. You got money going to Nike, you got money going to the NBA team, you got money going to the player, who's a separate entity within himself once he separates from his team, his likeness. And then you also have money that has to go to Hasbro to recruit. So they ended up with a $50 price point. Now, I will say this, after opening up these figures, they are nice, they are good. They're penless, which that's not a major thing with me. They don't have the tattoos, because we all know NBA players are sleeved up. Something that Allen Iverson, all those guys kind of started, which I'll kind of segue into that too with him and those type of players with this line too also. But they don't have any tattoos, but they do feel like nice, good quality figures. I like their head sculpts. I like the tennis shoes that they have on. And that was another thing too. They thought it was probably maybe going to bring people in this line with the sneakers, because I'm a sneakerhead, but it just didn't do it. It was just too much. So after you had to pay all those entities, you ended up about $50, which those entities probably got paid. Who probably really lost out on this is Hasbro. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot. They blew their head off with a double barrel. As cheap as they are at Ollies. So everybody pretty much recouped on that except Hasbro, because they dropped the figures down to $29. And at that point, I was kind of contemplating on getting them, but then I was like, I don't know. I'm at a stage right now. If I get them, I get them. If I don't care. But at Ollies for $8, $5, $4, how can you resist? You know, I'm a sports guy. I love sports. Am I crazy fanatically? No, but I grew up playing sports, and I love to watch football. Don't watch as much basketball as much anymore, but I'm kind of getting back into it. But football, I think they should have did from the get-go, because I believe that's America's pastime now more than basketball or baseball. But with football, you got to think every figure would have been an armored figure. And if these guys are in shorts and tank tops and didn't even get their tattoos and they're at $50, I can only imagine with football, you could have them the same price. I still don't believe people are going to pay that $50 for an action figure, especially a sports action figure in a quote-unquote nerd genre, man. It's just not going to happen, man. But I wish that could have happened. And to be honest with you, there's several different ways they could have went about that. They could have went with the classics like MJ, AI. I know I definitely would have got an Allen Iverson. Of course, Michael Jordan. You probably would never be able to find him. Magic Johnson, Barkley, Bird, and then on the football side, Joe Montana, Barry Sanders. I definitely would have got that. Emmitt Smith, and so forth and so on, man. But it just never got a chance to grow and get into that lane, man. And it's just too expensive. Too many licensings going on. And then, of course, Hasbro, they're going to put their change on top of it too, man. So it never got a chance to get jumped off, man. And that's pretty much the story of starting lineup. So if you see them at Ollies, and be honest with you, let's say something about Ollies. If you don't have an Ollies in your hometown, Ollies is almost can kind of affect the stock market. You go on Amazon now, those figures are $15. They got slashed down from $29. You want to know why? Because they're at these bargain stores and they know they can't compete. Same thing, I would say with G.I. Joe, Stalker, or anything. He's $12. The twins, they're like $10, $12 because they had been found at bargain stores maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and you just can't compete with the price. The people who went to the bargain stores, who brought them to reflip, they're putting them back out there for 15 bucks when they got them for $5, and they have to drop those prices down. So it's kind of a good thing all around. You can't necessarily get to them. Like, I totally would pay $15 for one of these starting lineups. Totally would. It's totally worth it. So you see them on Amazon and you ain't got an Ollies and can't get to them, grab them. But let's get into the figures, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit. So with these figures, they were so cheap. This is Joel Embiid right here. I don't care anything about him. I'm really not into the newer basketball figures, but these were so cheap that I bought 3. No, not for resale. 1 for men on card because I'm a sports guy, and I treat these men on cards just like any other ones I really like and put in the cut. 2, I actually do want to display these just like how they are, the regular basketball guys. And then 3, they're so cheap, I brought one just to dissect, to fuck it up. Okay, because it doesn't matter. I want the shoes, the jerseys, and the head sculpt. These are great figure fodders. You can bust them down. I really want to try to find out how to get those shoes off and put them on a Hasbro action figure. It looked like it might be a little difficult because they are true to basketball build. They are slimmer, so they're not going to have the thick legs of a superhero or even a G.I. Joe. I mean, in basketball, you might have a guy who's 6'8" and 200 pounds. I mean, that's not a lot of weight to go cover so much body. They're basically big bean poles, basically, man. But we're going to figure it out, man. But that's the great thing about these figures, that you could just, they're so cheap, you can buy them in abundance and do what you want with them. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to separate those 3 different things, the shoes, the jerseys, the heads, and hopefully use them in some type of fodder later on down the road. The next thing I want to talk about real quick is a subject I kind of touched back on a couple of weeks. I believe I dedicated this episode to Soapbox. It was about Marvel Legends making a comeback and losing their luster at the same time. A guy who subscribed to my channel named Danny, he put up a comment on that video, because I believe he just watched it the other day or today, saying that Marvel Legends fans are coming back in the waves. And I kind of knew that, but the way he said it, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And it is true. He said last year that the Avengers fans got looked out for, and they did. And be honest with you, I'm not as big as Avengers fans as X-Men, but those 2-packs, and especially when they went on sale, it's almost like paying for 1 figure and you get 2. I indulged in, and they were great figures, man, to be honest with you. That Dr. Doom pack, I still see it in GameStop every now and then for $55. I'm not gonna pay that, but for $29, yes, because I really want the Dr. Doom. So I'm paying 29 bucks for the Dr. Doom, and I'm getting an extra figure for fodder or just some extra plastic, which I think is great. But that Dr. Doom was great. The Destroyer was great. And as far as that wave last year, they really got blessed on that. They didn't have to go to Mayfax or anything, and you still got you some decent figures. And that's the way I feel about X-Men. He said X-Men is this year, and that's the wave I'm pretty much falling in, that X-Men wave. I think everything they pretty much put out so far is like, I gotta have it. I know I'm gonna indulge in a lot of those Marvel Legends this year. Next year probably be something else, and I might fall back, because to be honest with you, 2 or 3 years ago, I really wasn't picking up no Legends. It just wasn't for me. You know, whatever they was trying to put out, they were putting out a lot of far and in between characters, and it goes to show you with the Ghost Rider card that they got. I mean, that's once again a Ghost Rider, a very obscure character. Then you got a variant of that obscure character, man. So shout out to you, Danny. That was a great analysis of that, man. As far as people for Marvel Legends coming back in waves, because be honest with you, this year there's been a lot of people saying like, I'm good on all that X-Men stuff, you know, because they kind of gravitating to these little subgroups, man. And like I said, once again, I think they're doing a great job at that. All right, let's get into this week's haul. And this kind of really what this episode was really based around. This is what the meat, and we'll talk about a few figures. And this right here, this box will pretty much show you where I'm at in my collecting and what I gravitate to. Not even now, but what I've gravitated to my entire life. Turtles.
A huge TMNT fan.
G.I. Joe. X-Men. And I'm gonna reverse that because I first came across G.I. Joe first. Those were my first action figures. Then when I was about 5 or 6 or 7, Ninja Turtles all day.
I'm a huge TMNT fan.
And then, well, probably even up to 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, X-Men.
I do like the X-Men.
By the time I was 12, I was done collecting. But 9, 10, 11 for sure, X-Men. And this what this Big Bad Toy Store haul is about. Yo! First up, got another Snow Serpent. Actually, I picked up 2. When I originally picked up the Snow Serpent, I picked up one just to open at GameStop on a whim because that figure never attracted me like that, and I'm glad I did. So I was falling back. So by the time it was time for me to get more Snow Serpents, they were sold out. So I was falling back, and I had to get my min on card for my 1 through 100, and then I just wanted an extra Snow Serpent. Being fully aware that the retro card was coming out, but as far as the deluxe version, I'm good on that. The rest of them, I'll get the retro cards. I usually don't pre-order Marvel Legends like that, but I picked up 3 of these. Why did I pick up 3 of these? Because some odd reason I've never seen these in Target. They probably did come in, but they probably went right out. I don't know what was going on with the distribution of these, but they fell into Big Bad Toy Store, and also I believe $2 cheaper, because in Target they were $27, on B.B.T they were $25. I picked up 3 of these guys. Why? I mean, that's not necessarily like it has an amazing buck or anything like that, but they're automatic goons. This is Tracksuit Mafia from the Hawkeye show, and it comes with 3 different head sculpts, a Molotov, golf club, machete, and a bat. Everything a goon needs. The only thing these guys are missing is a white panel van with no windows on it. I mean, that's what true goons ride in, vans. And 2 finger rings and goatee, and ain't afraid the whole heat. And I picked up 3, $75. I don't have to do any kit bashing or foddering. I'm probably gonna just display them with the goon mask on, and that's how they're gonna roll. You got automatic set of goons right here. And true goons, I believe, run in sets of 4, maybe 5, but no more than that. But the 3 is a good start. Maybe they'll come back around again. I don't know, but I just pulled the trigger on them, man. And be honest with you, I don't have no regret doing it, man. I think this will be a great addition to my action figure collection, man. Especially when I need just 3 goons. No soldiers, no troops, no suited guys, just some straight street goons. 2 finger rings and goatee, and ain't afraid the whole heat. I don't know what I was thinking last year when I bypassed on this for 55, 65, I believe it was 65, whatever it was, but when it came back up from Big Bad Toy Store, I jumped on it for 65, I believe. I believe this originally started out at 55. I jumped on it for 65. It's at Big Bad Toy Store right now for 75, so the price has gone up. I thought I would be able to come across this figure again like it wasn't nothing, but he's became a hot commodity, and from what I've seen, like, how could I pass up on Blob? And don't get it twisted, I actually have the Toy Biz one, and I think that one's good. It's cool to sit up in my stand-up collection. This is my Blob that's gonna get busy. And every time I think of the Blob, I think of the X-Men game, the arcade game, where 2 arcade cabinets were put together, and he just says that phrase, "Nobody can beat the Blob." And it just brings back memories, and I think this is a great addition. I think both of them are great. The old one was going for an astronomical price, and it looks like this one is heading in that direction.
You're supposed to get me the red Mega Man. Now I can't make Ultra Mega Man. Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom. That's all I can say when I pick up this figure. I know Mega Man, but I did not play Mega Man in the early 90s or anything like that, just for a little bit, but it just wasn't one of my games. It kind of has the same setup as Contra. The way you move, the sprite moves along, and I was more of a Contra playing guy than Mega Man, but I gotta have this for my Marvel vs. Capcom. Jada is a great toy company that makes great action figures and great die-cast cars, which I am into, which I have a lot of Jada die-cast, but can't wait to open this guy up. I'm gonna get him out. It's just so much Mega Man can do, but if that figure is good, I'll definitely get a second. Only got one. I'll get a min on card just to kind of keep capsulized on that, but we'll see. We'll see. But he's definitely going into the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 display.
Where's Raphael?
Raphael, Last Ronin. Like, this is like a murderer's row of figures, man. As you can see, G.I. Joe, X-Men, Turtles right here. And this is the only turtle thing I picked up. I have a lot of different turtle stuff, but this really caught my eye. Matter of fact, Jay's Figs on Instagram, he really was the one that kind of tipped the ball over me when I see him posing this around. This looks like a great modern day Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles never came out in the 80s and they were just a drop out of nowhere today. This is the way you do it. I love their armor. I love the robust look of them. And he's just a good looking figure in there, man. I don't know how good you guys can see that, but this Raphael is tough, man. And I can't wait till the Leonardo comes out. I'm gonna grab him, the Donatello, and I believe Michelangelo is actually the real last Ronin that's left. I'm not sure. I haven't read that comic book story. I really need to. But if they come out with a regular Mikey before he became last Ronin, this is one of the all 4 turtle sets that I will get. With Ninja Turtles, I'm a crazy variant collector. I have some where I have just different sets of all 4 turtles, and then I have some turtles where I just sporadically go around and just kind of buy different turtles from different sets. And a good example of that is I like Punker Don from Super 7. Will I get Rocker Leo? I don't know. I don't think so. Also, on the other end, like I might have. Let me see. I was trying to look at my turtle collection, but you know, if you understand what I'm saying, I won't get those 4 sets of a specific one, but I'll just kind of randomly pick them out, and that's pretty much the way my Ninja Turtle collection goes. And of course, you know I had to grab these bad boys right here. Got the Cyclops from X-Men '97. Got the Nightcrawler. Pretty much repaint. That's all they are, but they look great in these card backs. These are great for display. This Nightcrawler, Kit Bash Customs, I like watching his show. He was saying that it should have had the Renew Your Vows body, or a more articulated body, and I don't doubt him on that. I don't knock him on that. It should. It really should. Nightcrawler should be able to get busy just like Spider-Man. He can do full flips. He's very acrobatic. I believe he was an acrobatist in the circus, I believe. I'm not too sure, but he gets busy like that. He can crawl walls and he can do all that stuff just like Spider-Man, so why doesn't he have that body? The only thing that's really saving this body is it's a slim body, so with the slimmer Marvel Legends, you really can crunch those guys, bend them down, and do what you need to do, man. But good looking figure. I like it. I really do. I really got this to display, to have one minimum card, because I have a secret card back collection, but I needed one for X-Men, and then my old Nightcrawler that came from Walgreens, I believe, I got him with Excalibur. He's always been with Excalibur, so I needed something to go with the X-Men set. And then the Cyclops,
it's him, Cyclops.
I'm a Cyclops guy, be honest with you. Cyclops grew on me as I got older. I believe the cell shading one is a little bit better as far as head sculpts, but this one looks good too. One of the faces looks kind of almost goofy and kind of looking is not as good as the other one, but this is a good looking figure. I like the beefy buck on him. I like that new buck, that Vulcan buck, which is his brother. And then now I can finally do my Summers brothers, my Summers family review, which I was going to do 6 months ago, but I didn't have Vulcan, so I just stopped it. And then we got the new Cable coming, so I still might wait on that one to fully to do that review, man. But the X-Men '97 card back waves looks fantastic. I can't wait to see what the show was about.
Guile, E. Honda, Blanca, Zangief, Chun-Li.
And then last but not least, we got my girl Chung-Li from Jada Toys. I actually had her on pre-order way back in the fall, man, but hey, I was going through some tough times and I had to drop her off that pre-order, man. So I went back to Big Bad Toy Store and picked her up again. She probably came into my pile of loot maybe like a month, 2 months ago, but of course I usually wait the 90 days or whatever long it takes to that pile of loot stacks up, not unless it's something I need right then and there, and then get it shipped. But I finally got Chung-Li, and I can't wait to bust her out the package and see what she's about. Yep. Definitely, this Jada Toys, I like Soda. I have the Soda figures, but Jada Toys, of course, they're just newer, modern, and I believe they're the better. I believe they're the better line out of the entire Street Fighter wave, period. I like Storm collectibles, but I like using Storm collectibles for the bigger characters. Like, I'm gonna get that Blanca. I had the Zangief back there, and I need to get E Honda. I missed out on him when he was on the daily deals on BBTS for $50. Now that's a steal right there. So, but I like using those. Look like they're superimposed larger in life, man. But that is the this week's haul, which originally was from the past couple of months, man. But that's a murderous row of figures. Every last figure, and I think they're in that pile of loot was fantastic. All right, now let's get into a short segment of
G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
And basically, this week on G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe, let's talk about the Night Force Shockwave. And I'm going to piggyback another situation on that. G.I. Joe Burnout. But let's talk about G.I. Joe Night Force Shockwave. I think this is the best looking Ram cycle. Of course, it's all black. What doesn't look good in neutral colors? Black, navy blue, all white. Comes with the little drone that the first Firefly had, which I always liked that backpack. I thought that was pretty dope. And then actually this Shockwave looks pretty good in the muted out colors. Another repaint. Definitely an easy pass. Is it something I'm crazy over? No. But I do think it looks good, and I do think it's a solid figure, and I probably will pick up one. It's not something I'm going to be trying to chase down and get those multiple black bikes. And my biggest thing when it comes to that, I bought a lot of my bikes secondhand off eBay. I would get the set, and then if I'm just looking for the bike and I don't need the figure again, that's cool. But this is part of the Walmart line. So this might not get put out in a lot of production like the other bikes did. They just kind of lost their ass on the Tiger Force bike, which were all those wild, crazy colors. I actually like the way that one looked. The green bike, of course, is good, and this black bike looks great also. That wing on there almost reminds me of the old Honda symbol. Honda used to have Honda across the top with a wing across the bottom, and that's what that looks like, man. But I think it's a good set. There's a lot of backlash on it. Not a lot, but I've heard some chattering on it. And I want to get into the topic of G.I. Joe Burnout. I believe G.I. Joe is on the way, not necessarily down in a sense because the product is still good, but as far as the fan-wise, and it's because of the G.I. Joe Burnout, the large influx of Joes we received last year, the large influx of Joes that came from the previous 2 years ago in sales. I had a G.I. Joe buffet this December. I think I brought the most G.I. Joes I've ever brought. I spent like $400 or $500 on G.I. Joes, and on top of that, that $400 or $500 was all like discounted, every last bit of those dollars. So really, and actually that was like $1,200 worth of G.I. Joes, or maybe even more because it was less than half on some. Some of them were $10, $11, $12, man. Buy two, get one free. Even with the snow serpents, these were newer figures that were dropping, man. So a huge buffet. It's almost like you had a buffet of steak, and the steak is great. Steak is prime meat. But if you ate a buffet of steak and then somebody else bring another steak, you like, man, I don't even want that shit, man. Like, get it out of my face. And that's really what's going on with G.I. Joe right now. And then also the eager collectors, which I don't knock anybody who jumps the gun and go gets the stuff overseas just so you can get it in, but you cannot knock me after you get that Joe in your hand. You mess around with it, it's like on to the next high, on to the next Joe. You know what I'm saying? You totally forget about that. Turn around and actually enjoying your collection, because we're so quick to consume so much Joes, and so much product is being put out, and all the product is good. Be honest with you, I haven't had really a complaint out of a G.I. Joe in a minute, man. So this is what's causing the burnout, because it's just an over consumption. I don't care what you do in life. If you indulge in it too much, it's not good. You're gonna burn out. Smoking weed, having too much sex, drinking too much alcohol, gambling too much, anything, eating too much. You have to cut it somewhere. You have to take a break. What I do is I actually turn around and actually enjoy my collection. I'm a little bit different because I'm a content creator, so I can do some things and actually have fun with you guys. But you don't have to be a content creator to take your pictures or to set up your Joes or to get with your kids, and or if you got young sons or daughters, because my daughters love my G.I. Joes. Just get with them and just set them up for your own enjoyment. I don't care if you just set them up in a vanilla pose. It's so much enjoyment of that, or setting up a different scene, man. And that's what we have to do. And as far as the overseas stuff, now as far as on content creator side, I can understand, because you want to be on top of your game. It kind of happened to me a little bit, but it was just the luck of the draw. On Amazon, I got the Recon Diver, one of the first little groups of guys did it. That was the first time I ever did it. And it worked out. You know what I'm saying? I had like 2,000 views. Usually I only get about 500, 600, 200. You know what I'm saying? It's very hit and miss. But that one right there instantly jumped up because I was one of the first, not the first, to put up that review, man. And with me now, I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm just let it come to me. And like I said, I'm not knocking anybody for do that. I always just go off the basis of what I do. And that helps me out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, when it gets here, it gets here. And besides, whoever's rocking with me gonna rock with me, man. But as far as on the customer end, I think sometimes that can be a little overzealous, jumping the gun, getting the stuff overseas, because you're going to forget about it. There's going to be another G.I. Joe that catches your attention if you're a serious collector, and that high will be gone again, man. So you got to pump your brakes a little bit on this G.I. Joe. And G.I. Joe, if they stop making product, like if this was the last wave, they have pumped out so much good product, I can have fun with the figures I got now for 20 years. I don't even need to go to Joe Fest, which I will be going to Joe Fest this year. But Joe Fest is in my house right now, right behind me. This is Joe Fest here, full of G.I. Joe action figures, man. So you gotta watch out for the burnout. You gotta cool your heels a little bit. Those figures will be there. Now, will I say on some Ollies type ordeal next year? I don't know. I believe the production is gonna go down. So you don't wanna, just like, okay, I'll get it at Ollies. But hey, whenever you get a chance to do it, you ain't got to use up the credit card all the time or jump and get this one or overpay this one. Just let it come to you. Just like a game. If you were ever an athlete and you ever heard that phrase, hey, let the game come to you. Because if I'm out there, I play defensive back. If I was out there and I'm just trying to jump the gun and jump a route to get an interception, they might overthrow me. I might jump too early and now my defender's behind me. Let the game come to you, son. Especially if it's safety, you need to back up. Let them come to you. This is what I was taught. And most of the time when you let the game come to you, you can make a really good play. And the same thing goes with this G.I. Joe thing. Let them come to you. Calm down. Don't get burnt out. Because what I kind of see will happen, which will probably happen anyway, is that Marvel Legends shit, that crowd over there. Which I'm part of that crowd too. I'm down with Marvel Legends. But that silliness right there, I don't even know if I could even sit up and stand all that, man.
Sit the fuck down and shut up.
Because we got good product here. Repaints, they happen. They were happening ever since the 80s with G.I. Joes. And a bunch of other action figures too. That's going to happen. But when you got good looking figures, quality figures, I mean, can you really complain about that? And they're going to get to your guys, Zap and Dial Tone and all those original third. They're going to get to them, but of course, on a business standpoint, they're going to spread it around a little bit, then they'll give it to you. But you don't have to buy the in-between figures. Wait. Let the game come to you. Dodge the G.I. Joe burnout. And that's all I got to say on
G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
But this is the Savage Land. This is another episode of Soapbox, man. I just wanted to do my big bad toy store haul and kind of show it off to you guys, man, and rap with you and give some of my thoughts on the starting lineup, the line that could have been but never was, man. They're great figures. That starting lineup. Matter of fact, I watched Iron King video and he was having a ball with him, and I was so jealous. I want to have a ball with him too. Be honest with you, I had been looking for him for a minute, and I found the mother load down in Wilmington, North Carolina, man. But if you see them, even if on Amazon, if you're curious, you want to buy one, you a sports guy, 15, 12 bucks, I think they're definitely worth it. They're definitely worth it to try them out. Also, I got a pre-recorded live coming up with Legend _ series. My first guy kind of ever asked me. Another guy too, Aaron, the toy enhancer. Also, check out Aaron, the toy enhancer's channel, man. He's a diorama builder, and he's a good G.I. Joe guy, man. He's in part of the G.I. Joe community. He has a Zartan swamp house that he built. Looks fucking fantastic. And Aaron, I might need you to make me something one day. I'm trying to think of what I want, because that looks great, man. I didn't know you had that talent. That is awesome, man. And like I said, whenever you want to do a live, I'm open now. I've never done a live before, to be honest with you, and I want to incorporate that with my channel. But getting back to my man Legend _ series, he's gonna have me on live. We're gonna pre-record it, and it should be out in the next couple of days. So I'll have that link once that drops. Check that out. Can't wait to get with him and just talk about action figures, Joes, man, and just chop it up. And then also, myself, I will be doing lives personally in the future. Not right now, but I will get there. But with that being said, this is the Savage Land. We do this for the love and beauty of big bag toy store hauls. Starting lineups at Ollies for stupid cheap. You could buy so many you can just do Dr. Frankenstein on them. Get them shoes, get them jerseys off of them. And with that being said, until the next time, God bless.